Hello, crafty friends, and welcome back. I have yet another heritage layout to share with you, and today I am documenting two pictures of my grandpa. And he, in one of the pictures, there is someone else with him staying by a car, and honestly, I don't know who it is, but I do know that it is my grandpa in the picture, and really, the frames that were actually printed on the original pictures were the inspiration for the papers that I chose in actually the overall layout. So, these were some papers from a Bo Bunny collection that came out sometime last year. I think I've had them for about a year. And it really gave off that mid century vibe that I felt the frames were giving off. And so that was kind of what inspired me to pull these papers. And some of the papers may have actually been from, let's see, Beautiful Junk. But I actually think most of these were from the Bo Bunny collection. And I do know that one paper that I pull out was actually from Cedar House, which was an older American Crafts collection that came out. And then some of the die cuts that are, well, this particular one that I'm working on right here, that was an Elizabeth Craft die that I used to cut this entire piece of paper and do the die paper torn edge at the top. And of course, then I pulled out some various things from my stash. I've got some really super old chipboard from my mind's eye. I've got some 49 and Market stuff. And then I did have this new booklet from Studio Light. And that's where that short little film strip came from, the pocket watch, and that camera piece came from. And the pocket watch makes me think of my grandpa because that is actually one of the pieces that I have from him when he passed away. That I did get one of his pocket watches that he had when he was younger. And so I did want to include that as well. So here I'm starting to get my layers down. And sorry for the wiggling there, that I'm actually at a crop or at a retreat house, and so the lighting and the tables were a little different than what I'm used to working with. So, uh, you know, I only have a few more videos left that I will be sharing that I created at this retreat, and then my lighting should mostly go back to normal until I go to my next retreat, which is this coming weekend. So I'm kind of excited to go to that. It's over National Scrapbook Day weekend and should be a lot of fun. So there are my two pictures. I'm going to get those stuck down here, and there was a little bit of damage to the original photo, and so I am going to actually cover that up with one of these chipboard photo corners. And ironically, I only had this one chipboard corner, and so that's all I used. I just used it in that one place and covered up that corner where the damage was to the original picture, and it just seemed to work out. So I had these two little chipboard plaques that I believe those were from Tim Holtz, and these sellotape stickers are also from Tim Holtz as well. And as you can see, that I had actually just opened the packaging there, so that was my first piece that I have used on a layout, and they actually looked really awesome with this particular collection. So I'm sure you will see more of those in the future as well. So now getting this other little cluster put together here, an old-fashioned camera that really just the color went good with the rest of the embellishments that I pulled out. And here you can see that now that I have put some of my layers down, that original cluster that I thought I was going to put there on the side of the photo doesn't really fit anymore. So I put another piece of sellotape there. And I do eventually find a home for some of these items. And so here is my title as well, that I've got it laid out on some old acetate pieces so I could check and verify the spacing. And so I do separate the little tile stickers from the larger last word, which is color. And so my full title is "You Should Have Seen It in Color," because I can't imagine what was going on in these pictures, but I'm sure, um, you know, that is actually a title to a song. One of my song that I do like is "You Should Have Seen It in Color," and I just thought this was a cool layout to use that title for. I do like to use song titles a lot of times. To go along with maybe a feeling or what's going on in the picture. So just the letters here that I am using were super old thickers, and so I just wanted to make sure that they did stay really good. So I do put a layer of glue on the back of my hand and just dip the back of them in lightly, so then that way I can make sure that they stick really good to the layout here. And so here's another trick that I am fairly certain I've shared before. When I'm using these tile stickers, that just so I don't have to worry about the spacing of my words and then pick them up and move them and pick them up and move them, that I actually just stick them down onto a scrap piece of paper, and then that way I can move them all around as one long word versus multiple tiny stickers to try and get the spacing right. And that seems to work really good for me. So here you can see that I've got it all spaced out, and then now all I have to do is add just a small drop of glue to the back and get all those glued to my layout here. And then I actually had that border strip there, that was actually just a really old piece of scrap paper that I had run through my sticker machine, and it had been in my stash for quite some time, and so I got it used here to just try and fill in some of that trap space below the title there. So added some buttons there, and I was showing you in my title where I had to get creative on a couple of the letters. That for the S's I had to use ampersands. For the I's, I believe I also used an upside down exclamation mark and things like that. So here are the close-up photos. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave those down below. Otherwise, thank you for stopping by, and we will see you next time. Bye.